I want you to try to do this by yourself before we do it together. So please pause the video and try the question, and we will do it together after that. Okay, let us see whether you did it correctly. In this question, we want to determine the density, and immediately you see that the very first thing you should be thinking about is, how do I determine density? Density is mass of a substance divided by its volume. For this substance, we have 48.0 gram sample of a metal. So we know what the mass of the substance is, because grams is the unit of mass. So mass is equal to 48.0 grams. Originally, the liquid level in a graduated cylinder was 25.0 milliliter. But after the sample of metal was dropped in the water level rose to 33.0 milliliter. To find the volume of the sample of metal, we would simply subtract 25.0 from 33.0. So the volume will be 33.0 minus 25.0 milliliter. And that should be equal to 8.0 milliliter, following the rules of subtraction. So the density of this metal will be equal to 48.0 grams divided by 8.0 milliliter, which should be equal to 6.0, following the rules of division, gram per milliliter. Let us now move on to another question. If the density of ethanol is 0.789 gram per milliliter, right there we can immediately see that we can express this as a conversion factor. That is the same thing as saying 0.789 grams is equal to 1 milliliter, because that is literally the meaning of gram per mil. 0.789 grams is equal to 1 milliliter of ethanol. This is the question. How many liters of ethanol are needed in order to have 1,200 grams of ethanol? I need you to notice something here. We want to find how many liters. Immediately you see that, you're thinking that should be the unit of volume, and you would be right. So we want to find the volume in liters. Well, we know the mass of ethanol as 1,200 grams, because grams is the unit of mass. So 1200 grams. We can use the conversion factor between grams and milliliter. The conversion factor is that 0.789 grams of ethanol should have a volume of 1 milliliter, grams will cancel out, which means we're going to get our volume in milliliter. But the question specifically asked us to find the volume in liters. So we would need to change the milliliter to liters. And that means that we can simply interpret milli as 10 to the negative 3. So 1 milliliter is literally 10 to the negative 3 liters, which means milliliters would cancel out. Now we have our unit in liters. If you plug in all of this into your calculator and you round to 2 significant figures, which is the number of significant figures in the mass, you should get 1.5 liter. Let us look at one more question, but before we do it together, I need you to pause your video and again try if you can get this. Okay, let us work on it together and see whether you got it correctly. John took 2 teaspoons of cough syrup. 2 teaspoons for a cough. If the syrup had a density of 1.20 gram per milliliter, right there we can immediately use that as a conversion factor. So 1.20 grams is equal to 1 milliliter. And there are 5.0 milliliter of liquid in 1 teaspoon. Again, that can be used as a conversion factor. So we have 5.0 milliliter equals to 1 teaspoon. What was the mass in grams? We want to know the mass in grams of the cough syrup. Well, that should be straightforward because we can easily convert the teaspoons to milliliter and then convert the milliliter into grams. Let us do it together. So 2 teaspoons multiplied by the conversion factor 1 teaspoon is equal to 5.0 milliliter. Teaspoons will cancel out. Then we can convert the milliliter into grams. The conversion factor is that 1 milliliter should be equal to 1.20 grams. Milliliters will cancel out. If you put this into your calculator, you should get 12 grams.